the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Thursday morning. We are so glad that you have joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz. And making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. Our podcast every single day is brought to you by the Glenda Mitchell Law Firm. Can't say enough great things about Glenda Mitchell and her entire firm and her staff. Looking forward to seeing them today as we're going to swing by there and talk to them about a couple of things. But again, if you need a fighter for you, if anybody in your family or whoever is in a car accident, which we hope none of you ever are, you call on Glenda Mitchell. She will take care of you and she will fight for you. All right, man, I tell you, just a horrendous loss last night. I don't know how else to spin it. I don't know what else to say about it. It's going to consume everything we talk about today. I had a whole thing that I was going to do, and I just threw it in the trash. We'll save it for later. We can talk about some other things today at lunch as we're on location at Pepper Tree. But, Faith, there's nothing else to really describe. It's going to take up our time this morning. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you, too.
Just a brutal loss. I don't know how else to spin it. And I told you last night, I said, we found a way to lose a game twice in one game. And people may go, what is he talking about? Well, you get your doors blown off in the first half. You give up 35 points to a guy. He outscores you by himself. Okay. We had just unreal performance by Josh Hubbard. You got to tip your hat in the first half, 35. His career high until last night was 38. He topped that with 46. But 35, like somebody sent me a text as a joke before the game. They said, what's the over-under on Josh Hubbard? Is it 30 for the game? And then somebody else sent me a text. What's the chances of Auburn holding Josh Hubbard to under 30 in this game? Faith, he eclipsed that at halftime. I mean, I was sending you a text about every other minute. I'm like, all right, he's at 25. He's at 28. He's at 31. I'm like, this is absurd.
At halftime, him having 35 points is ridiculous. He went 9 of 12 from the 3-point line. And if you remember, before the game, I said, I went to the Mississippi State Ole Miss game. I said, if you can guard him, he's going to be what makes their team. Obviously, he is. And Auburn didn't do that. It took up until the last minute of the first half for Auburn to double team him.
Yeah. I don't, I just don't know why you have to get, and we'll talk about what Steven had to say here in just a little bit. I don't know why you have to continuously dig yourself a hole, and he addressed that last night. But, again, it's starting to become repetitive of you keep saying the same things of what you got to fix, and you don't fix them.
Right.
And it's getting down 11 to whoever. Auburn's lost five games in a row. They're in a tailspin. There's no other way to say it. And you got Kentucky, who's not a world beater team by any stretch of the imagination. But, I don't know what this environment's going to look like on Saturday now. And I sent you a text earlier about what the prices of tickets are for a Kentucky game now. Now, again, even when Auburn was terrible, when Kentucky came to town, it was always a crazy environment because it was Kentucky. Now, Auburn has been a better program the last 5 to 7 years than Kentucky. The stats show it. I mean, people can say, but the stats show it. Auburn's had a better run the last 5 to 7 years. So is Alabama. So is Tennessee. But Kentucky rolls into town. no, they're not playing great, but they're playing better than Auburn. And the question is, can the team recover? And we'll get back to that in just a little bit. But welcome back, Keyshawn Hall with 29 points. 4 of 7 from behind the arc, 10 rebounds, only 1 turnover. Tahad with another 20-point game. So that's 5 games now. He scored 20-plus points, and Auburn's lost all 5. And I'm not pointing that out to take a shot at Tahad. It's just he has scored 20-plus points 5 times this year, and you've lost every single one of those games. And so Philip Jovic, no points in 11 minutes. What has happened to him? Like, you and I thought at the South Carolina game that, man, he was about to blossom and be a guy that could give you 15 to 18 points a game. And as hard as he works and all, and his minutes have done nothing but go down, and his point production has become almost extinct.
Well, yeah, I mean, last night, him not having any points, I'd say they're pretty extinct. It is honestly, it's just shocking to look and see last night how they were just outplayed. That's what it was. I mean, I don't know how else you spin it.
Well, let's look at a couple of points. I mean, we can ramble on about how bad the game was, but let's actually break the game down. First of all, a guy scores 35 on you in the first. I don't care how much of a damn heater he's on. Okay, can you make an adjustment within the half and figure out a way to get the ball out of his hands? I mean, he's a great scorer, but I mean, you got length on the guy. And I know he fired up a couple of shots that were wild that kind of went in, and that happens in basketball. But you gave up 35 to a guy in the first half, and you get down 18. Like, going to my point, Faith, is, okay, you survived that. You came back and took a 7-point lead. You had a 5-point lead with 2 minutes to go in the game. Like, if anybody should have been dejected, it should have been Mississippi State for going, we had this game won. They were blown out. Now they've got a 7-point lead. You would have thought they would have been the team that collapsed coming down the stretch. Instead, at 82-77, they end up in 2 minutes now with 2:03. They had 77 points, ended up with 91 points, and Auburn ended up scoring 2 more points. 2 more points, and you were in the double bonus. You had everything laid out for you. And you left 2 timeouts in your pocket.
To be fair, the second half, Josh Hubbard hadn't made any field goals in the second half up until 3:20 because he had only contributed in free throws. So Auburn was doing their part of coming out of halftime and doubling up, or even at some point there were 3 guys on him playing defense. And so they were able to adjust and make that adjustment. But after that, he was obviously the one that made the 3 to take the lead from Auburn, 85-83. And I'm with you. I don't understand why there were 2 timeouts left.
Well, I mean, at some point in time, you got to stop the bleeding and regroup. And again, you're up 5 with 2:03 to go. SWA had just hit 2 free throws, give you a 5-point lead, and then Mississippi State comes down and hits a 3, and it's 82-80, and it's under 2 minutes to go. Again, at this point now, the game's in the coach's hands because it is a 1-possession game. You got to go, okay, let's look at the fouls. Let's look at how many times Auburn had already gone to the free throw line. 31 times. Mississippi State had gone to the line 17. You got to drive the ball to the basket and draw contact. You got to milk the clock. You got to drain the shot clock. And then you got to drive to the basket and let them foul you. You got to use the clock as your friend. So, rushing down and jacking up wild shots and getting, one look at it and giving you basically gave Mississippi State extra possessions. And so it was handled like, again, you overcame on the road an 18-point deficit where you get down 18 on the road, you feel like going, okay, this game's over and we've got to flush it and move on. And you're probably going to end up losing by like 10 or 12, but hey, you got down the road, you got to flush it. No. You came back. And you came back and actually separated yourself. You got a 7-point lead all while you're in the double bonus. And so I don't know. I mean, to me, that makes it even more brutal that you did all of that and you came back and you had this momentum and you looked like you were gonna survive a freakishly great game by a player in Josh Hubbard, and then you gave it away at the end. And again, the dejection of Stephen Pearl, and I know, look, it's human emotion. It's human emotion, but he looks like a guy, and I heard this from another Auburn guy last night, and we've seen it multiple times, and you brought it up. When things aren't going well, or at the end, it's the crouch down, looking at the floor, I don't know what to do look. I mean, that's the only analysis I can give you. I'm not standing or sitting here bashing Stephen Pearl. I'm just observing. So everybody needs to understand. I'm just taking on what I'm seeing from a body language standpoint, and it's just not very good.
How is Auburn going to try to get out of this 5-game losing streak on Saturday against Kentucky, which, again, I mean, it's always a crazy game no matter what, and it's the Outlive game.
But is it going to be a crazy game? I'm interested to see what it looks like. Hey, look, you gotta be honest with yourself. Every team has bandwagon fans, and now that Auburn's lost 5 in a row, all of a sudden it creeps into their mind. Oh, what am I going to do on Saturday after Saturday night at 7:30? Well, normally it's a no-brainer. I'd be going to the Auburn-Kentucky game, but now maybe you go, maybe there's something else that we're doing on Saturday that takes precedence over this game. I'm not saying that it will be sparsely attended. I mean, it'll be a good crowd, but I mean, to what level? And there will be empty seats. You can bank on it. So, yeah, I don't know how crazy of a game this is, but I'll tell you this. You lose that game, and we'll talk about it here in just a second, talk about what Stephen Pearl had to say after the game last night. This is a streak right now that'll be 6 in a row if Auburn is to lose to Kentucky and then have to turn around on a short turn and go to Oklahoma, which is not a great team, but neither was Mississippi State. We're going to go through the standings here in just a minute. But, I mean, you're looking at a team that's not trending well, and the tournament committee looks at that. Like, yeah, you got some quality wins, no question. But they're looking at what are you doing lately, and what you've done lately has been terrible. So you got 5 opportunities left in the regular season, and everybody's saying, well, now, Auburn's still firmly in the tournament. But last night after that game, and you and I talked about it a couple of days ago, that if you lose to Mississippi State, that's changing. Now all of a sudden you're not firmly in the tournament anymore. So we'll get back to what Stephen said here in just a minute, but we got to talk about some of our partners because, again, we couldn't do the show without them, and we always start with
Sensagreen. For air that's cool and clean, call on Sensagreen. They are the carrier experts in the state of Alabama. Proud supporters of Auburn athletics and a proud supporter of Auburn Blitz. We know that Sensagreen is going to be the ones that save you money, and everybody loves to save money. Everybody loves to work with people that they trust. And Sensagreen, those are the people that you want. So make sure you call on Sensagreen, and they will save you hundreds of dollars.
Scout Program Management is a full construction management firm in Birmingham, Alabama, and they are the best in the business. Why do you hire a program management company? Because they take you from the pre-construction phase all the way to the finished product, and they make sure everything is done correctly, and they hold everybody accountable. You don't have time to do it. You don't have the staff to do it. So check them out, scoutpm.com online. And again, for your next major project, you need to call on Scout Program Management.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn, best place for you to go and listen to some live music. They've got 2 stages, so if you don't like one of the artists playing, you can go to the other one and listen to them over there. And there's 2 bars, so you don't have to go back and forth to get your drinks because they have both the bars running and getting you drinks. They've got great happy hour deals and great food deals too. So make sure you head to Bunkers in downtown Auburn.
And we were at the cart source yesterday, and we had a blast. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, as brutal as last night's game was, on the other end of the pendulum, we had that much fun at the cart source. Faith, you got to drive multiple golf carts, so you were just in kid heaven. They've got the best brands: Easy Go, Cushman, Yamaha Club Car. Harrison and his old staff down there are tremendous, and they were wrapped up yesterday. There were people coming in and out constantly.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and some of you have gone to the cart source and told them, like we've asked you to tell them the Auburn Blitz sent you, and you have. So applause for all of you out there that have done that and gone to the cart source and bought you an unbelievable golf cart. And I'm telling you, these things are unreal with touch screens and all the things. I was blown away. So you need to go check it out right there in Dadeville, Alabama, off Highway 280, Alabama's premier golf cart superstore. The cart source, and you and I both had a great time yesterday.
So much fun.
What wasn't fun was watching that game last night. So going back to that, we got several comments coming in. Hogbone said, I think running some zone on defense during the game would help this team. Might as well try it. Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about this yesterday at lunch. You may want to play a certain style, but your roster and your depth may have to dictate that you do other things that you don't want to do, right? The same in football. You have to look at who you have and see what your players can and can't do and what they're capable of. I mean, you may want to go out and sling the ball all over the field, but if you have a quarterback that's not capable of making all the throws, then that's probably not the best thing to do. Well, we know that Stephen Pearl likes to play a high-intensity level of defense. Absolutely. And wants to wear teams down. But when you're the one playing with 6 guys and 7 guys, maybe that's just not the best fit when the 5 you start have to go 35-plus minutes. So I'm not saying – like I'm not coaching the team, but I'm just making an analysis that Hogbone brings up a great point. Maybe you need to try something different a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right when you're talking, though, about the extensive minutes that these guys are getting. I mean, welcome back, Keyshawn Hall, with 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yeah. And then, obviously, you've got Tahad, who had 36. And so I don't know how intense you can expect your defense to go and run when you've got guys playing basically the entire game. And you want them to, shoot the ball, distribute the ball, be able to run stuff on offense too.
Look at this, Faith. You basically had one guy that was subbing multiple positions. Elijah Freeman had 19 minutes off the bench. So you had Pettiford with 36, Overton with 28, Murph with 32, Hall with 40, and Sebastian had 32. But you were using Freeman to come in and sub for all of them because Jovic only had 11 minutes.
Yeah.
So you really got one guy of significance last night that gave anybody a breather. Blake Musalik came in for 2 minutes. I mean, you can't even count that. So that again, broken record. I apologize. Told everybody 4 weeks ago was a concern for me with this team, even in amongst the winning streak we were going through. My concern was how this team was going to play coming down the stretch, and did they have enough gas in the tank to finish games? And they spent so much energy coming back last night, and they had a 7-point lead. You forget, okay, you hit that that mark at the end, but your coach has to help your team at that point. They fought back, take a 7-point lead. You don't take 2 timeouts home with you. I'm sorry. Like, look, everybody can criticize me for things I do wrong. I'm fine with it. It's life. But Steven screwed that up. There's no other way to spin it. And I know that he probably looks back and goes, why didn't I spend, at least one of those timeouts and kind of give everybody a breather and kind of regroup and kind of get a plan going down the stretch with 1.5 minutes to go in the game.
Steven said this was devastating. You can't let someone score 46 points and expect to win. It was a great comeback, and we showed a lot of grit and a lot of fight, but we have to do a better job as a staff of being up 7 with 4 minutes left.
Or up 5 with 2. So either way, however you want to spin it, that's unacceptable. And look, this is not a good Mississippi State team. Now, I mean, you look at the standings, you can go, well, neither is Auburn. And I told you that the other day. I said, well, when you look at the records, at the time, Auburn was 14-11 and Mississippi State was 12-13, so it wasn't much of a difference. But now that you look at these standings, Faith, and you look at where Auburn is, and I just went back through the last 8-9 years, and man, Auburn's always been like 1, 2, or 3, and just crazy, the fluctuation. And then now you look at this team, and there's a clear divide on the overall wins and losses. Georgia's at 18-8. Missouri 17-8. They squeezed out. I don't know if you saw the ending of that game with Vanderbilt last night. That was unbelievable. If you didn't, I'll tell you about it here in a second. But 17-8, 17-9, 17-9, which is Kentucky, 18-8 Texas A&M, 21-4 Vanderbilt, 19-7 Tennessee, along with Arkansas and Alabama, and then 20-6 Florida. Then you get to the next level. Mississippi State 13-13, Auburn 14-12. Here's my deal. Everybody's saying, well, you're firmly in, or Auburn's maybe going to be one of the first 4 in, and they may end up being that way. But right now, as it sits, Auburn's the 14th. They're where are they? 12th or 13th in the conference? I mean, how many teams is that? How many teams is the SEC going to get in the tournament this year? I mean, you got to look at it from that standpoint and who the head-to-head matchups are and all that. And I know you look at net rankings and strength of schedule and all that, and that plays in, and Auburn does have that in its favor. But you got to start winning some games again. It's a 5-game losing streak after you went on a 4-game win streak. And it looked like, man, massive win on the road against Florida. Very, very huge resume-building win there. But here's who you're grouped with. Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, LSU, and South Carolina. And guess what you have on your schedule left? You just played Mississippi State and you lost. But you got Oklahoma and Ole Miss and LSU left on your schedule of the 5 remaining games, and they happen to be below you in the league. And 2 of those games are at home.
And it should be, again, keep saying it should be a win against those teams, but right now, obviously, nothing is guaranteed. Steven said it was obviously a devastating loss. That was the worst loss I've probably been a part of at Auburn. We've just got to try and take what we did well in those 15 minutes. Your season is on the line Saturday. If you don't win on Saturday, you're probably firmly on the bubble and out of the tournament. So put some pressure on yourself.
Nobody denying that. I think he's dead on. So let's look at it. Kentucky Saturday, Oklahoma Tuesday. And that could either turn things for Auburn or put the nail in the coffin. Those no need to look at Ole Miss and LSU. Those teams are terrible. And you got them at home. And if you lose one of them, it really is over. But then you got Alabama on the road who just scores a bazillion points. And crazy game for them last night.
Crazy game.
Yep. But when you look at this Kentucky-Oklahoma stretch, if you lose one of those games, it could be damaging to the point where the NCAA tournament committee goes, well, Auburn probably needs to go and make a run and win the SEC tournament. to get in. So, but it really, okay, we said this the other day. You lose to Mississippi State, now your back is firmly against the wall to really almost win out. And you got 5 games, you need to win 4 of them probably. At dead minimum 3, because we said 3-3, that gets you to 8-10 in the league and 17-14 overall. But the way you're losing into some of these teams you've lost to, you may need to win 4 of them.
Yeah. So what is attainable for Auburn to go and win?
Right.
You've got to win against, hopefully Ole Miss is going to be a win, and LSU for sure. Those 2. And then Kentucky and Oklahoma are kind of
right.
Do you think you go to Alabama and beat them again like you did last year?
No, it's 2 totally different trending teams right now. I mean, you can say what you want to. Nobody likes Nate Oates. I even think some Alabama fans don't like him. I mean, I really do. I've had some Alabama buddies go, man, I get it. Glad he's our coach, but I see what you're talking about. But anyway, guess what Nate Oates does? He's got them at 19-7 and 9-4 in the league, and they're in second place along with Arkansas and Tennessee, and they have a tiebreaker over Arkansas. Florida's ahead by 2 games right now. I think they've kind of separated themselves from everybody. They blew Alabama out, so they've got the tiebreaker over them. So unless there's some kind of catastrophic failure by Florida, I think they're going to win the league, and they should. They're the best team in the league. And things are kind of shaping up. I mean, Texas A&M's come back to the pack. They've had a little bit of a reality check. They snuck out of Ole Miss with a win last night, but they're 8-5. They could easily be 7-6 with a buzzer beater at Auburn. But things have kind of taken shape. You really have Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, A&M, and then Kentucky. If Kentucky loses to Auburn, they go to 8-6 and 17-10, and all of a sudden they start to be a team that everybody goes, but if they win the game, they stay on track to be okay. And then it gets dicey from there with Texas and then Missouri. And then if Auburn loses, they fall even further down. I just don't see. I mean, this is not the strongest conference this year. There's a lot of parity in it. There's some good teams, but right now there's 4 ranked teams in the league. And the highest ranked one is Florida. It's 12, and they deserve that. But then you got 19, 20, and 25 ranked teams. So right there at the bottom of the rankings. So top to bottom is not the strongest. And then so Auburn has drifted down into the bottom third of this league right now. And so they got to figure out a way to dig it out with 5 games left. Faith, I don't know how else to spin it there. But let's get to some more of our partners here before we get off this morning. We got a really busy day ahead of us today, which is great. And again, Oliver Ross, for all of your party plans, conventions, whatever, licensed, trained bartenders. They come, set everything up for you, handle all of your service, take it all down. Everybody's bragging on you on what a great, great party or event that you had. For weddings, for whatever it is that you have, call on Oliver Ross. They will come out and they'll take care of your event.
Russell Medical Center on Highway 280 in Alexander City, one of the best places for you to go so that you don't have to fight traffic to go see a doctor. I mean, I know that if you don't live anywhere near Atlanta or Birmingham and you're kind of in that central south part of Alabama, I mean, it's the most accessible. And if you do need to go to a bigger hospital, they're paired with UAB. And so what better hospital to be paired with and have doctors that work together than UAB? So head to Russell Medical Center if you need anything. I know the flu is going around, so make sure if anything happens, you're at Russell Med.
Nobody got time for that, for sure. And Alex City Marine, I mean, can't say enough about them. I know it sounds like a repetitive spot, but it is because they have the best in the business, center consoles, pontoons, whatever it is that you're looking for, all powered by Suzuki, Mercury, and Honda, the best motors in the business. Absolutely. I can't rave enough about how great the Mercury motor is on the back of my bass boat. I mean, it's top notch. So call on out City Marine. It's starting to warm up. Yes, it is. And now's the time to start planning for what you're going to do in the spring and the summer. Call them 256-215-3474. Okay, Faith. That really nothing else to say. Now all eyes turn to Kentucky on Saturday, 7:30. You and I will be there. We will have a post-game show afterwards.
Yes.
We don't know how that will go. Yes, we'll see. But we always look forward to Peppertree Steaks and Wine, where we will be here in a few hours for our noon show. Can't wait. Very excited as always.
Always. So make sure you tune in at noon. We've got a lot more to talk about. We'll see you then.
Absolutely. And again, we appreciate all of you that tune in each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz. Hit the subscribe button. If you haven't done that, hit the like button. It helps us out tremendously. And a awesome appreciation to Glenda Mitchell and her law firm. If you need someone to defend you after a car accident or somebody in your family, it's a no-brainer. You call on Glenda Mitchell. She comes to you. She gives you her personal cell phone number, and she fights for you with your insurance company to make sure they do what they're supposed to do. I want her on my side. You definitely want her on your side. Call on Glenda Mitchell. Looking forward to seeing Glenda today as well. So, again, we can't thank her enough, can we, Faith?
No, not at all. Excited to see her.
All right, I will let you send us out.
Hope everyone has the best day.
Absolutely. Be good to people. Say something positive to somebody, and we will see you at lunch for more of the Auburn Blitz.